Good morning, and welcome to another Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale. Today is Wednesday, even though my calendar here has yesterday's date. Let me update it. Welcome to Wednesday, February 11 or 12. It's 12. No, it's 11 for sure, right? 9, 10, 11. It's 11. February 11, 2026. Let me ask you a question before we get too deep into this. How many problems at work are actually problems? And how many of those problems are conversations that never happen or hasn't happened? And that's where we're going this morning, folks.
Who don't know, what is emotional intelligence? Take us through a little bit about it.
Oh my goodness, it is the ability to be able to use, manage, understand your emotions in a healthy manner.
I pursued my doctorate in business administration, and I focused my research on the concept of emotional intelligence. I took my research from theory to practice.
So, back to what I said. How many problems at work are actually problems? And how many of those problems are conversations that actually took place? Any takers out there? Let me know. Good morning. Let me know where you guys are joining from down below. Good morning. I am here in a beautiful state of Florida. Hello, Boss Lady Jess. Good morning. Bammy, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We avoid hard talk. We avoid the hard talk at all costs. The majority of us. We delay the feedback. We hope the tension fixes itself somehow. 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 Let's just put it under the rug. Somehow it's going to get fixed. Somebody's going to figure it out. Right? Somehow. Somehow. And then one day, avoidance become the real issue. Right? Avoidance become the real issue. So today's conversation is hard conversations don't have to hurt. Hard conversations don't have to hurt. Okay? Today we're talking about why hard conversations don't have to hurt, and then they don't they don't have to hurt, but they require a few things in order for them to not hurt. They require clarity. They require, you got to be clear. What are you saying? Emotional maturity. You're going to need a lot of that. Bano Sashadi, good morning. You're going to need a lot of that. Emotional maturity and care. Just a little bit of tact. Just a little bit of tact. You're going to need some of that. Okay? And in honor of Black History Month, this month, Black History Month, happy Black History Month. Every week, I'm going to be saying that. Every Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. You're going to be hearing it because it's all month long. Actually, it's every year, all day for those that are Black. I want to ground this conversation because in honor of Black history, I want to honor this conversation in leadership. Leadership that embodies courage, that embodies compassion, and that embodies empathy. So here's a story that's a real story by a real leader. Her name is Rosalind Brewer. And Rosalind was the CEO of Walgreens Boots Alliance. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she was also the COO of, at one point in time, of Starbucks and Sam's Club. So she ain't no anybody. She ain't anybody. Okay? Rosalind Brewer became CEO of Walgreens Alliance. She brought leadership style that's rooted in two things: accountability and humanity. Ooh, those are the secret. Accountability and humanity. She's known for being straightforward, direct, but deeply, deeply relational. Brewer has spoken openly about the importance of transparency in tough moments, not shying away from it. Transparency in tough moments, right? Whether navigating diversity initiatives, whether that be corporate restructuring, or you needing to address someone's performance. She did not sugarcoat things, you guys. She did not sugarcoat it at all. Crazy Mix, welcome. Good morning. Welcome to A Glimpse of Growth. Our conversation today is hard conversations don't have to hurt. They don't. But she didn't weaponize her words either. She didn't sugarcoat it, but she didn't weaponize them. There's a difference here. And that's where she collided beautifully when it came to emotional intelligence. And that's what we're talking about today. Clarity without cruelty. You can be clear, you can be direct, but you don't have to be cruel about it. Most folks seem to think that you need to be, I just told them what was on my mind. Yes, you can do that. By all means, do that. Let people know where you stand, and where you stand 10 toes down, but you don't have to be rude about it. Directness without dismissal. Accountability without humiliation. Ooh. Ooh. Can you hold someone accountable? Can you tell them what you need to tell them without humiliating them, without making them feel less than a human being? Can you do that? Can you do that? I mean, I think that in my experience, we all can. The majority of us choose not to. Gemini, good morning. Good morning, good morning. I believe that we all have the ability to be direct, to hold people accountable when we're talking to them, right? This is what the conversation is this morning. I'm not sure I understand the question. Definitely no. Definitely no. I know that we have, I think the question was, do you think or do you know? I definitely know. I know that we have the ability. We have it within us because we have all the tools inside of us. But the thing is that majority of us choose not to tap into that. Yeah, it's definitely no. No, for sure. Um, Most of us we don't tap into it, right? We don't tap into being vulnerable. We don't tap into wanting to figure out what those things are, to show that we are human, and then we don't have it all figured. We don't tap into it. So what ends up happening is that the conversation goes left. The conversation goes left for sure, right? Hard conversations can be handled with care, right? Why leaders, why do you think leaders delay? Why do you think maybe not you as a leader, maybe your previous boss that you had, or maybe you yourself, or someone, right? A friend. Why do you think leaders delay hard conversations? Let's be honest about it. This is where we're at. This is humanities. If you're not interacting and having conversations with people and doing that with directness, being clear, emotional maturity, and with care, which are the three things that we mentioned that you're going to need to have these hard conversations that doesn't have to hurt, why do you think leaders delay it? Why do you think we push it to the side? Why do you think we pretend like it's not there? Leaders delay hard conversations, in my experience, because they don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to be disliked. They fear emotional reaction. They, a lot of leaders come into, especially if you're not an experienced manager, you have an employee that you are friends with, and now you have to go and correct them on something that they did wrong. Yeah, it's a little touchy, icky situation there, Dr. Dale. It's a little touchy, icky situation there. Hi, Rosa. Hi, Rosita. Rosita, what's up? So this is why leaders delay those kind of conversations. In my experience, they don't want to be disliked. They don't want that experience that emotional reaction, because it's just, what if somebody breaks out and cry? What do I do, Dr. Dale? They aren't sure what to say, and then they're confused. We confuse kindness with avoidance. But here's the truth. Every conversation you avoid compounds. It compounds. Every conversation you decide to avoid, it compounds. Silence doesn't preserve peace. It postpones it. It says, I'll postpone that discomfort today. I'm going to put that aside. I'm not going to address that today. Yeah, no, we don't need to talk about that right now. Brene Brown said, clear is kind. Unclear is to be unkind. Clear is kind. What is it that you want to say? Why are you saying it? Why are you saying it? Be clear. Be direct with the person. Let them know where you stand. To do anything different is to you're doing that person a disservice, and you're doing yourself and the relationship a disservice. You're not helping them. You're not helping them. Right? So to be clear is to be kind. Brene Brown said it. When we avoid hard conversations, we think we're protecting people. Right? Vladimir, good morning. Sana Queen, good morning, good morning. Let me know where you guys are joining from. Welcome to A Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale. When we avoid these hard conversations, we think that we're protecting people. We think that we're doing them a favor. But when what we're actually doing is protecting ourselves from that discomfort. What we are actually doing is, maybe this is a growth opportunity for that person, and this is their chance for you to have that conversation with them, so that maybe they don't even know that they're doing what they're doing. And now that you realize that they're doing something that maybe they can get some advice on, you just ignore it and just push it under the rug, and don't even give that person an opportunity to fix, to address, to think, to realize, they don't get that feedback. And that avoidance, it starts to erode trust. When you realize, when you don't have that conversation with that person, the trust slowly and surely starts to go down. It slowly starts to go down. How emotional avoidance starts to erode trust is that when leaders don't speak up, high performers feel unseen. You have somebody in the office, and that person that's in the office, they are making the entire group, the entire department worse off. Everybody's experiencing it, and you're giving all the work to this person that is doing all the work, and the other person, they have their job too. You should be giving half the load to them, but you're not giving it to them. Why? Because you don't want to address the situation with that employee. You're doing everybody else in that department a disservice. And then underperformers, they stay confused. This person, they're hearing talks here and there in the office, and they know it's about them, but nobody has there yet to come and tell them, what are we talking about and what is going on? Or maybe even they know, and say they use that to do less. I've been in all the situations at work, you guys. I'm sure you or you know someone that has been through the same thing, right? Because it's not unique. Teams lose clarity quick. Resentment starts to build, and by the time you know it, that environment it's toxic, and people are constantly in and out, in and out, in and out. Psychological safety doesn't mean no hard conversations. Emotional intelligence does not mean, oh, you're weak, oh, you're soft, oh, no hard conversations, no boundaries. You just, everybody is free nilly to do whatever they want, however they want. That is the last thing psychological safety and emotional intelligence is about. The last thing. And if you know, you know. It means people trust that even hard conversations will be fair. That's what it comes down to. Psychological safety doesn't mean no hard conversations. Emotional intelligence does not mean no hard conversation. It means people trust you more, knowing that, yeah, you know what? I got to make sure I come to office on time every single day because I already had that conversation with such and such, and I don't want to have that conversation again. And to be honest, she's right. She allowed me to come in late 30 minutes every day until I got my car fixed. Now my car is fixed. I said I was going to start coming in on time. Here I am on time. Now, imagine if that manager did not check that person. She's okay with it. They're okay with it. Butterfly kisses. Melgy, they're okay with it. Why would I come in on time? That manager never checked me. I'm good. Right? When employees feel blindsided or ignored, safety disappears. I've been there as an employee, I've been there as a manager, and now that I'm out of the corporate world, I see it and I hear it all the time in my clients. When trust is broken in explosion, it breaks, it's broken in silence. When you decide to ignore what is going on, you decide to pretend that we'll address it next week. When next week come up, I'll address it with him then. And then next week come and go, and you have yet to address anything. And so what ends up happening? And this is and let me say this, right? This is not only stuff that happens in the office, everyone, right? This also happens at home. Anywhere you have a relationship. This happens in romantic relationships, friends relationships, church relationships, boyfriend and girlfriend relationships, children relationship. When you start holding people accountable to what they say, to what they, where their responsibilities lie, in the end, people respect you more. They know now I need to come correct when I come to such and such. Because I told her I would do this. I didn't do it. I didn't change my mind. I didn't tell her, give her a heads up. I just pretended it didn't exist. Not cool. Not cool, folks. Not cool at all. Not cool at all. If you say you're going to do something, my mom always says that your word is your bound. You agreed to something, stick to it. Shania Webb, you said Aggie, good morning, you guys. Welcome to A Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale. Welcome, beautiful people. Welcome, beautiful people. Hard conversations don't have to hurt. My mom always, she says it, if you are going, your word, if you don't have your word, if you can't keep your word, that's the last of the last. That is the basics right there. If you can't keep your word, what are we doing? What are we doing, right? So Brene Brown said, clear is kind. Unclear is to be unkind. So if the person is not sticking to what they said they would do, and you want to maintain that relationship, and you're going to continue to interact with that person, because you have to. Maybe let them know, but how you let them know, right? Now, here's where it kind of gets a little powerful. We're getting a little bit deeper into this conversation. Many leaders ask, can you give me a script? I had a leader 2 weeks ago that I met with that said, no, I don't need a script. I'm good. I'm like, that's okay. I'm going to send it anyway. And then when I sent it, the person was like, thank God you sent it because something happened that week. Thank God you sent it, Dr. Dale, because something happened that week and I went to those scripts and I used it to hold somebody accountable for something that they did. And I just couldn't, I was so mad. I knew I didn't have the right words to address them. So I went to your scripts and they helped me. And yes, language matters. It does. But I've also been in the situation where language matters. How are you delivering those words? How are you using that language? I've been on both sides. I've been on both sides. Emotional intelligence matters more. It matters more because your tone carries weight. Johns, good morning. Welcome to A Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale. Your tone carries weight. You can say, I need to talk to you about performance. I need to talk to you about your performance. I need to talk to you about your performance. Did you hear the tone? Did you hear the difference? I need to talk to you about your performance. Did you hear that? There's a difference. You feel one you feel like, oh my God, what did I do? Oh, I'm about to be fired. You can take that a couple of different ways. The other one is like, oh, okay. You feel threatening, open, all of it. You can say the same sentence with a tone that says, I care about what happens to your job. I care about your performance. I care about you as a person. You can say the same thing, but at the same time convey that you care. The difference isn't the script, my friend. It's your regulation. It's how are you, which is good. That manager that I was talking about, she used the script and before she read the script, I told her, go take a, breathe. When she in sticky, icky situations that she knows is pushing the bounds of her emotional maturity, do some deep breaths, go for a walk away from the situation, and then come back. Your head is a lot more clear. When you do deep breath, it helps with your amygdala, your brain, and it helps you to just be like calm, right? You're calm, and now your brain knows that, your subconscious knows that you are not in danger. Everything is okay. We're just addressing this situation that's a part of the day-to-day, the normal stuff, right? That's research. Go do your research, you guys. That's a fact, right? The difference isn't the script. It's your regulation. How are you regulating yourself when you're delivering that message? Okay? So before you walk into that room, before you decide to check that person, here are some recommendations. And this is from my experience. This is from folks that I've shared. This is from research. So you're getting all the above. And you're welcome. Pause before speaking. I said that earlier. Name the issue. I speak about this all the time on here. Name the emotion, not the person. Name the issue, not the person. Don't say, you are lazy. You're just lazy. You're addressing the person. You're not addressing the issue. You're calling somebody out on something from a perspective, from a lens, based on what You think that you're and at that point in time, the minute you start labeling people, you have lost them. I know you lost me. Put yourself in that situation. Anybody start calling you names, they lost you. In one ear, out the other. You can't wait to get out of that situation, right? Or you can't wait to give them a piece of your mind. Name the situation, not the person. Tell my managers all the time, address the person, the situation. Solve the situation, address the person with respect. Focus on the behavior, not identity. Focus on the behavior, not identity. Separate the facts from feelings. You must have heard that before. The feelings that you're having, they're real. I validate you for them 100%. And I know because I talk about that all the time. Emotional intelligence. That's what I did my research on. Your feelings are valid. They're real. But one thing you got to know about feelings, one thing, they're temporary. They don't come to stay. One, and do this in your own experience. Assess your own experience. 1 minute you can feel such a great morning, you guys. And the next minute you can feel like pissed off, from vexed, frustrated, mad, from a text message, from a phone call, from whatever, for whatever situation, for whatever happened that is about to happen, that happened, all the things. Feelings are only messages. That feeling that you're having, it's letting you know. So I'm saying separate the facts from the feelings and lead with empathy and address. Before you walk into that hard conversation, ask yourself, am I calm? Ooh, am I clear? What do I want to get out of this conversation? That's important, Aggie. Am I seeking resolution or release? Do I want to, at the end of this conversation, do I want to bring this person that I'm going to have this conversation with closer or further away? Right? Do I want to unite or do I want to divide? Because that will determine how you should approach the situation. Self-regulation is leadership maturity. You cannot create safety in a room if you are emotionally flooded. You cannot create safety in a room if you are emotionally flooded. Okay? So I designed this framework. We're getting ready to go out of here. We got about 5 more minutes and we're out of here. As we wind down here, the care framework that I designed, it's care. Center yourself. Regulate yourself. Check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Acknowledge the shared goals. What are we trying to get out of this conversation? What is the point of it? So that way it will help you know how to move forward in that conversation. Raise the concern clearly. It's perfectly okay for you to be direct. But be direct with empathy. Be direct with how you want to approach the situation. And then engage in the dialogue. Just jump right in. For example, you could say, I value the work that you're doing here, and I want you to succeed in this role. So I've noticed deadlines have been missed in the last, twice in a month. Can we talk about what's happening? What can I do to support you? How can I help? You see? You let them know that you value them as a person. You let them know that you want them to succeed. You let them know also the facts are 2 deadlines were missed. That's a fact. And then I want you to know, now that I let you know those three things, what is it that you need from me to get us back on track, to get you back on track? How can I support you? That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You're clear, you're calm, you're respectful. That builds trust. That builds trust. So, call to action here for you. If this conversation resonates with you, pick out one of those 5 things that I mentioned that you want to implement to make your conversations a little bit better. Pause before jumping in, especially if your emotions are heightened. Name the issue, not the person. Focus on the behavior, not identity. Right? Separate the facts from feeling. And then you plunge right in. Lead with empathy. If you do, start with one. If you start with the pause before speaking, bam, that's half the battle. I know because I've been there. I know because I have been there. Right? And what I used to do when I was, especially when I first time became a manager, I was a perfectionist. I'm a recovering perfectionist now, but when I was a first time manager, I wanted to get everything right and get everything on, excellent and spotless and perfect. What I would do, I knew I had to address this employee in the morning about their performance. So what I would do is that I would replay the situation in my head or write it down on what I wanted to say. So that way I can make sure that I stay on topic and I get out what I need to say to this employee to make sure that they are going to train them up in the organization. Right? That was my aim. So I wanted to make sure I was clear enough, but at the same time held them accountable, and I did it with care. That's what I wanted to make sure. And that's not always easy. And sometimes if you work long enough in a workplace. Tony C, good morning. Welcome to A Glimpse of Growth. We're winding down here now, but we were talking about hard conversations don't have to hurt, and why it's important for you to pause before speaking, especially when your emotions are heightened. Name that issue, not the person. Focus on the behavior, not identity. And then separate the facts from the feeling and lead with empathy. Lead with empathy. If this conversation resonated with you and you want to build real emotional skill, not just scripts, because you can have the scripts. But we mentioned earlier, and I gave an example, you can have the scripts and say, I need to address your performance. First of all, your emotions are not in check. That's care, right? We said care, center yourself. That's regulation, right? Regulation. And you have to have self-awareness for this. Let me tell you, if you don't have self-awareness and know that you have blind spots, I can't help you. I can't help, and you're not interested in it, there's no way anybody else can help you either, right? But if this conversation resonated with you and you want to build emotional skill, not just scripts out here in these streets, join me, reach out, get my newsletter, visit my website, dalereports.com, and getting my newsletter. I send out newsletter every week giving tips. I do a LinkedIn newsletter as well once a month, and I reach out, just reach out. And so because I have a lot of different templates and stuff that you can use, and I'm happy to send them and share them, because managing people requires more than just technical skills. Managing people requires emotional skill. Yes, it does, because we're human beings. And if there's nothing else built inside of us apart from our red blood, is that we are emotional creatures, right? We are emotional. And even if you are stoic and you're serious, that's an emotion. And this is business. Where's your empathy? And why are you shying away from it? That builds trust and it takes the relationship to the next step. Okay? And that, folks, that's all we got for y'all today. That's all we got, folks. Thank you for having this conversation with me today. What I do want to share is that there's two events that I'm a part of. Let me see here. Let me get it up here. Yay! Okay, so the first event I'm going to talk about is Women Living Fearlessly. There's a podcast. My podcast is A Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale. And we did a book. I did a book last year with 24, 25 other amazing women. And Women Living Fearlessly was the book that we did. I don't even have the book here with me. Where's the book? Oh, it's over there. So, and I'm doing a 3-part podcast series in a month of March with some of these amazing co-authors that authored this book with me. Join us. Join us. It will be live on social media. Go to my YouTube, Dr. Dale Reports, and make sure that you register for the event because it's March 6th, March 13th, and March 27th. Join me. Join me in the conversation. I want to make sure if you ever thought about doing a book, thinking about wanting a book, this conversation is for you. Why not? Why not? Why not? It's important. Join the conversation. And so come join that podcast series and let me know that if that's interesting to you, then you'll get your question answered on whether or not you should do a book. So here's the barcode for those that are on YouTube and LinkedIn and all the other places. This is the barcode. Feel free to register here and that will take you to my YouTube link. And then the other event that I want to talk about is I'm on the board for Human Resources of Broward County. Well, formerly Human Resources of Broward County. Now we are Sherm Broward. We're doing Inclusion in Action event, March 31st. If you are here local in South Florida, then you would want to be a part of this event. This is the barcode for the event. For those that are here on TikTok with me, go to my Dr. Dale Reports YouTube and register for these events. Sherm Broward is having this event, and I am leading this charge along with the entire board. So I welcome you guys. Come on, join us. Inclusion in Action is happening March 31st, 2026, and it's from 9 to 3, I think. So that's all I have. See, there are a lot going on. We're still in for first quarter. So if you haven't get yourself registered for some of these events and what's going on to level yourself up and make sure that you're staying ahead, what are you doing? What are you doing? So this have been a conversation with Dr. Dale. Again, as I mentioned before, we are here every Wednesday for the most part. Every Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I'll see you guys next week. Toodles. Toodles. Toodles.
Thank you for being here and supporting this channel. If you enjoy this episode and this content, it would mean a lot to me if you would take a few seconds to ensure you are subscribed to A Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale. Click the notification bell to receive notification. Share it with someone you think may need it. And let's continue to become more intelligent with our emotions. Thank you.
And that's it, y'all. Take care. Hmm.
Respond to the issue, not the person. I know sometimes we have a problem with the person that's sending us a message by email, text message, you don't know how to reply because you have a problem with that person and we don't know how to respond sometimes. So, respond to the issue, not the person. Separate the behavior from the identity. I can't tell you how many times I've been in conversation with my clients where they have a problem with a particular manager, with a particular peer, and they don't know how to respond because they have a problem with them. So I said to them,